The association of thought with Vedanta for most people is detachment. No detachment is possible without an attachment towards the higher. The word Vedanta consists of two words, Veda and Anta, which technically means the end of Vedas or the end portion of Vedas. In our scriptures, the mind is compared to a monkey.
So in this era of #FOMO, how does Vedanta guide us to embrace the contentment and presence in the moment?
So FOMO, the solution is Vedanta only.
Hello, sir. Welcome to NMN PODS. And it is fascinating to learn about your journey with Vedanta. So, could you share some pivotal moment which has steered you towards Vedanta from your previous professional life?
Right. I studied BCom at Chennai and I was pursuing my CA and working with a management consultant in Chennai. I came to know about this Vedanta Academy and its founder Swami Parthasarathy, who's our guru. I heard one of his lectures, Bhagavad Gita lectures in Chennai, by which time a couple of my friends had also joined the academy. So basically, even being good at studies and starting to pursue a corporate career, I felt a lacuna within myself to know more about life and living. And then I understood Vedanta Academy gives an opportunity not just to learn this, but also live and practice this. Then I decided to take a full plunge into a 3-year full-time residential course there. So you can say that this happened in 1996 December. So that has been the turning point towards this Vedanta. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And your journey at Vedanta is actually truly very inspiring. So, how do you describe Vedanta to someone who is just scrolling, through Instagram and looking for meaning?
Right. The word Vedanta consists of two words, Veda and Anta, which technically means the end of Vedas or the end portion of Vedas. So, the Upanishads are generally referred to as Vedanta. This is the direct meaning. There is also pun on the word Vedanta. Veda means knowledge. Anta means end. The end of all knowledges or the culmination of all knowledge. That knowledge having known which, after which you need not know anything, which is the knowledge of your own self. That also is Vedanta. But we can say from a practical point of view, Vedanta is a knowledge which teaches about yourself to you. So, Vedanta introduces yourself to yourself. Everybody in the world looks forward to peace of mind. Everybody looks also towards material prosperity. We see in the world one is pursued at the cost of the other. So either a person is materially successful but not that much peaceful. We are not here to judge how he is, but from their own admission, as you progress materially, corporate life, etc., this seems to be declining, the peace of mind. Otherwise, you need not do anything and have a general peace and contentment. But ideally, you should combine both. There must be dynamic action and pursuit of success. At the same time, command peace of mind, by which I say you eat peacefully and sleep peacefully and generally be in harmony with others. You can say Vedanta is a knowledge which guarantees these both simultaneously.
Okay, so mindfulness. So mindfulness is trending, but Vedanta offers a profound depth. So from your experience, how does Vedanta's approach enrich our modern understanding of mindfulness?
My understanding of mindfulness from its general meaning is that you need to be in the present, being aware of your thoughts, aware of your experiences, aware of what is happening to you at that present moment, which is mindfulness. Precisely, we can say the subject of Vedanta addresses this in the sense that the tendency of the human mind, whether it's yours, mine, or anybody else's mind, the nature of the mind is not to be in the present by itself. By itself, it will jump here and there. That is why in our scriptures, the mind is compared to a monkey.
Okay.
In Ramayana, Lord Rama collects monkey forces. Symbolically, it means that he collects the thought forces and directs it to a purpose.
Yeah.
So, the monkey has the biggest cage in the zoo because it cannot sit quite in one place. There are two types of movements. Technically, we say chanchal and asthir. Chanchal is being fidgety. Asthira is not being in one place, jumping from place to place. So, the movement is from one place to another place, and movement within a place also. That you tie the monkey down also, it cannot keep quiet. These two are common to our mind. That is why the mind is equal to monkey. To keep the mind in the present, you need a powerful intellect. Your focus has to be absolutely powerful, and that needs to be strengthened by yourself. There is no external factor or agent that can do this. This strength one has to develop by oneself. And this is what precisely Vedanta addresses: how to build your inner strength, how to develop your intellect so that you can guide and control your mind and keep it in its place. Once this training comes, the mindfulness becomes automatic.
Okay, so many people, including me, are all searching for our true self. So, how has your personal experience or exploration with Vedanta influenced your perception to this journey?
Actually, when you say many people are searching for their true self,
Yeah.
I really do not know in what sense they are saying this. Because if you say many people, in general, we can say are in search of something. They may not know what, but they are in search of something elusive, and it all boils down to happiness, satisfaction, peace of mind, joy, pleasure, contentment. You can use any term here, bliss. But we are not satisfied with something temporary. Even if a person is pursuing wealth, name, fame, power, position, vicariously he is searching for happiness through that.
Yeah.
So either directly or indirectly we are searching for that. Now what Vedanta says is that what you mentioned as true self, your true self or the nature of your true self is happiness. You all would have heard this term very often, Satchidananda. Satchidananda is a term that is very commonly used. It is consisting of these three terms: Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means existence, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. How is this Ananda or bliss different from what joys and pleasures that we normally encounter in the world? Is that we use this term in Sanskrit, Sukha and Dukkha. Sukha means joy, Dukkha means sorrow. So Sukha and Dukkha are opposed to each other. Sukha has an end where Dukkha begins. Dukkha has an end where Sukha begins. So there is a limitation. There is a beginning and an end. But on the other hand, this term Ananda has no opposite. Ananda is Ananta, which is infinite. So infinite bliss is our original nature. It cannot be acquired by anywhere else. That which when you realize your own original nature, then you are said to be in that permanent bliss all the time. In fact, Vedanta says you are in it now, but we are not experiencing it. Some sort of ignorance covers it, and that is why we are pursuing something outside. Rather, it's like a bird that is within a cage, and there is a light within the cage. Through the holes of the cage, the light is falling outside, and the bird is looking through the hole and looking at the light outside and searching for the source of light. Rather, it should look inside and see that the light is inside the cage only. This is exactly the thing. So, when you call what you call as true self is nothing but our original nature, which is bliss itself. So, the pursuit is not trying to obtain it from somewhere else, but to realize it that our original nature itself is bliss. So that is, we can say, is the pursuit of the true self.
Okay, sir. So could you share a transformative experience that you have had with Vedanta that has solidified your path in spirituality?
What I can think of is the best part of my life so far has been the 3 years when I was a resident student at the Vedanta Academy, learning this knowledge under Swami Parthasarathi, our guru I am talking about. The 3 years there, we have a routine or a daily schedule there from morning 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, which is packed with various activities aimed towards our self development. Centered around the knowledge are activities like yoga, physical sports, and jogging. Um, Activities that's karma that we do to work for the institution, bhajans and devotional singing interspersed with various prayers, meditation, and 3 square meals and sleep, rest. Everything is oriented towards our self development, you can say. So, if you want a consolidation of my thought towards spirituality, it is a culmination of the thought process in these 3 years, which we can refer to as my turning towards spirituality. That solidified my conviction that this is what I need to pursue, because 3 years is just a beginning, a foundation is given. It's a lifelong journey. So I can very well say that the course at Vedanta Academy has been the transformative experience that I've gone through.
So, for our listeners juggling jobs and screens, what practical Vedanta wisdom can they apply to find balance and purpose in their daily routines?
Right. First of all, we need to understand that needs to be a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Of all creatures, only human being can think in terms of what is my purpose of life. Suppose if you have a pet dog, you cannot ask the dog, how do you visualize yourself 5 or 10 years from now? It has to lead a dog's life. A cow has to lead a cow's life. A
Yeah.
tiger has to lead a tiger's life. Eat, reproduce, and whatever it has to do, and then die. And we also tend to do the same thing, maybe in a more refined and sophisticated way. We have our mechanical routine core of activities that we go through, and all this is set by our predecessors and society, that we go through this motion. Rarely we do find this question popping up as to what is the purpose of my life. Sometimes, because of certain tragedies that we encounter in life, suddenly this question comes: who is God? Is there a God really?
Yeah.
Or what is the purpose of life? This type of questions do prop up, but more so because of the circumstances. It is not out of a earnest inquiry that it comes. But for those people in whom these questions come and they are sustainedly pursuing it, Vedanta says that we may all have different goals in life. Your goal is different, my goal is different, everybody else's goal and what they want to pursue in life may be different. But it says goals in life may be different, but goal of life is same for all of us. Goal of life is to find out our real identity. Who am I? Where have I come from, and what is my purpose of life? What am I doing here? If this pursuit of the purpose, you may not know the answer, you may not get the answer, but the moment you ask this question itself, that very moment you are searching something. And Vedanta gives the answer and guidance towards this type of questions. A person, when he is able to get into this type of frequency, only then there is this wanting to have a work-life balance towards achieving something,
Yeah.
etc. comes into picture. So, the first step I would say is to even get this question and get an idea or clarity about what am I doing and what is my present role in life, etc. Then we understand we are playing various roles in life. Let's say in your office you are a corporate person, in your family you are a mother or a wife or a husband, in a society you are a responsible citizen. So to understand what role I play and to keep the other roles in the background and concentrate on the role that I have taken up now, that brings about balance, for which again it is the development of intellect that will bring about this balance.
So, Vedanta also talks about detachments. So, how have you personally practiced this in your life?
Okay, in fact you are right. Vedanta preaches detachment, and the association of thought with Vedanta for most people is detachment. That's why various people get afraid by the word Vedanta, even though even in this country, they have a respect. They may have devotion. But if you say that, do you want to pursue Vedanta or do you want to learn what it is? Hey, let us see after retirement. That is the
Yeah.
fear that people have. I mean, let us be honest about it. It's a cool word. You may have a interview of a Vedanta person, but if I ask you, would you want to pursue it? You yourself may be a little skeptic about it. Now, what is interesting here to note is that Bhagavad Gita, everybody knows, is a great text on Vedanta.
Yeah.
Right? Here, the context or the background is that Arjuna was a great warrior, a hero of his time. He is well prepared for the war and a righteous war also. But at the critical moment, he becomes emotional and he drops his bow and arrow and he says, Krishna, I will not fight. Let us run away. In essence, he is saying, let me take up sannyas and go away. In that background is what Bhagavad Gita is given, and Krishna brings him back into activity. This is what we need to note, because people say, I will read Bhagavad Gita after retirement. That means after my action is over. Where Gita is saying you come back to action.
Yeah.
So rather, if we learn Bhagavad Gita before action, we know how to do actions properly.
Definitely.
Right. So this term detachment, when it comes from all these sources, particularly in the last chapter of Gita is called also Moksha Sannyasa Yoga.
Yeah.
This term sannyas, detachment, renunciation, these are all very scary terms. Let us put it this way. It is true, Vedanta teaches renunciation, it teaches detachment, and that is the backbone of Vedanta. But I'll ask you this question. Suppose you are climbing a ladder, you are on the third step, and you need to now go to the next step, fourth step. Taking away the step from the third, taking your foot away from the third step, is that possible first, or planting your leg on the fourth step, that is the cause? Which one will you do first? Will you plant your leg on the fourth step first, or take away the leg from the third step?
This is such a tricky question, because at the same time you have to
Think
do
about
both.
when you climb the ladder practically, when you cannot jump from the third step without keeping your leg on the fourth step. Am I correct?
Definitely.
Otherwise, we'll
Yeah,
fall down.
one.
So once you have planted your leg on the fourth step, it is easy to take the leg away from the third step, right?
Definitely.
So we can say you are detached from the third step only when you are attached to the fourth step.
Okay.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Exactly like that. No detachment is possible without an attachment towards the higher. So instead of saying that Vedanta preaches detachment, you can say Vedanta preaches attachment towards the higher.
Ah.
So therefore, it only opens up various avenues for life at a higher level, by which it says get attached to the higher, by virtue of which, by result of which, as an effect, the lower drops off automatically. When a flower matures into fruit, the leaves or the petals of the flower drop off. You can say the flower has practiced renunciation here to mature into your fruit.
Yeah.
But to get the fruit, you cannot pluck the petals. No fruit will emerge. It is a maturity. So by knowledge, when you become matured, when you get yourself associated with higher values of life, automatically there is a detachment from the lower. So it is a natural process. It is a process based on wisdom and knowledge. And this is precisely what Vedanta preaches. So not to scare people, let us only put it this way, that Vedanta helps us positive attachment towards the higher, as a result of which detachment happens.
So meditation is often misunderstood. So what is Vedanta's approach, and how does it differ from, the popular perception?
Okay, people all over the world, they want quick fix remedies for everything. Meditation is the highest spiritual practice. It is like going through school, college, graduation, post graduation, and you do PhD later. In the spiritual journey, the culmination or PhD is meditation, and its effects are definitely tremendous, and it's a highly scientific practice. But 100 out of 100 places wherever meditation is mentioned in our scriptures, be it Bhagavad Gita, be it Upanishads, either directly or indirectly, what is recommended is that you prepare yourself for meditation. That means you ought to be an adhikari or a rightful candidate who is eligible for meditation. Meditation being practiced with an unprepared mind can cause damage, and that's what happens to most people, because you need to pay the price. I mean, in the sense, you need to scientifically go about it step by step. So suppose if I have a headache and I pop in a Saridon pill to bring it down, it will work for a while. But if the cause is something else, a right doctor will go into the root cause
Yeah.
of it. Exactly like that, you cannot use meditation like a popping pill to bring about reduction in stress or something
Yeah.
like that. So Vedanta emphasizes on preparation for meditation rather than meditation. You become meditative rather than practicing meditation daily.
Okay. Success, as we say, is often measured materially. So, through your teachings, how does Vedanta redefine success in the modern individual?
Right. Success is definitely measured by certain accomplishment. It does have certain measurable numbers as far as accomplishment in the world is concerned. And now, if I ask you who is a successful person, you may list out certain people. Let's say Tendulkar, Ganguly, Virat Kohli, they are
Yeah.
successful in cricket.
Yeah.
Vishwanathan Anand in
Yeah.
chess, or Modi or somebody else in politics. Amitabh Bachchan, Rajinikanth in movies.
Yes.
These names come to us immediately when you talk about success. And no doubt they have certain numbers to show for their accomplishment. It need not be just measured in the tangible terms of money. It could be name, fame, power, position, certain things like all these things. What they have achieved defines success, no doubt about it. But success from their own perspective. So there are two aspects to success. One is this external achievement, which varies from person to person. Suppose if you ask me, suppose if I say I sell 100 books of my Swamiji, and that could be a measurement of success for me.
Yeah, definitely.
For somebody, it is entering a Ranji cricket team. That is a success for him. Or a municipal councillor, if he becomes, that is success. This will vary from person to person. But internally, what we are all looking for is that peace or happiness or that satisfaction we derive out of it. So, from that individual's perspective, we should define, or rather, he should define success for himself as a combination of external achievement and inner peace. If both are achieved, he will really feel successful about himself. Without that, we see even great celebrities committing suicide, and also it's not a real measurement of their what they feel internally, though for the external world it could be very glamorous. So the success from their point of view has to be measured from both this internal and external point of view.
Yeah. So in this era of hashtag FOMO, how does Vedanta guide us to embrace the contentment and presence in the moment?
Right. FOMO, I believe, is fear of missing out.
Yes, it is.
And so when people see Instagram videos, when people see various things, particularly now there is a constant update of what is happening everywhere through all the social media channels and WhatsApp and whatnot. We are being updated, and therefore the fear that and the videos are presented in such a way that as though, I mean, that is the be all and end all of life, and if I miss out, that is something that is really that it's not correct from my perspective, is what people think. Basically, it boils down to, I would say, a sense of peer pressure, that everybody is doing something, and if I'm not there, I'm pressurized to do it, or I feel that a complex comes in me that I'm left out.
Yeah.
This is precisely what Vedanta answers, or it says that to be by yourself and not to be pressurized by the herd, the society or your peers. You need to stand on a solid ground. Most of us in the world follow what is known as herd instinct.
Yeah.
Now, we all went to school. Why did we go to school? Okay, at that time you can say that parents we had no choice, but we went to college. Why? Because my father went, my grandfather went, and my uncle went, and my brother went, friend went, I went. Then we all joined a company or did business. Why? Because my grandfather did, father did, and I'm doing it. We all get married. Why? Everybody in the family does, we all do it. So it is the society the peers that set the motion for us in life. And I'm not saying anything is wrong in this. Studying in school, college, or getting into marriage institution is not wrong. But we never pause to question as to why am I doing this? Is there a meaning behind doing this? So the moment you start questioning like this, your intellect solidifies and it becomes strong. Still you can do it. It is not that by doing something opposite you are doing correct. Suppose if everybody watches a movie and I won't watch that movie, so I am right. No, I am not saying that. You need to question and find out as to why you are doing it, convince yourself and then do it. It has a meaning or purpose in life, for which there needs to be a strong grounding of your intellect, and Vedanta provides that. So FOMO, the solution is Vedanta only.
So, Vedanta and rationality. How do you address skepticism towards spirituality with logical reasoning and personal conviction?
Right. The religion in general, particularly in West, is called as a faith. Which faith you belong to, right? And the followers are called as believers. And by definition, faith is blind. You need to believe in certain thing to be of that particular following, etc. Vedanta is not based on any belief. Beyond belief, we are all seekers, we can say, not just believers. We are seekers of knowledge. We are not content in having a belief in certain thing or not believing in certain thing, but try to find out the truth for yourself. So any scientific minded person would be able to relate to Vedanta because it gives sound reason and logic, and it draws from your own experience. Read your experience carefully and try to find out the truth for oneself. A chemistry student will not be happy just with the theory that he listens to in the chemistry class. He has to do the experiment in the lab to find out the truth for himself. And by worshipping Henry Cavendish and all great chemists, you are not going to become a great chemistry student. Whatever they have given, you take in with respect. But you need to find out you need to experiment and find out the truth. Vedanta says, take in the knowledge, apply it in your life, see the truth for yourself. If it works out, take it up and practice. And it follows sound reason and logic. It answers all the questions as to why and how. So, answer in the modern scientific era for spirituality and religion is Vedanta. It merely does not say do's and don'ts or believe or don't believe. It leads the path for you to walk along with it.
So could you share your insights on how Vedanta has shaped your views towards, digital consumption and maintaining a healthy digital diet?
Digital consumption is inevitable now, because 3 years back we even saw during Corona, all the school students to everybody in the office, we had to go through that for even attending schools or doing the work, etc. Even as we take classes, at that time Zoom was the platform most of us used. So there is no running away from technology and digital platforms. But it is true that that it completely preoccupies us to such an extent that there are no personal interactions and emotional transactions with friends, families, which all of us, even as a 70s, 80s kids, when they grow up now into this era, they are able to contrast their life from that to this. But since it is inevitable, I would say, even let's say if you are taking Facebook, Instagram, it really counts as to who you are following and what contents you are consuming. Even suppose you say you want to attend a satsang or something, which is a holy company, that also can be done through digital platforms. So technology can be used for a positive purpose also, but you need to really understand the purpose and have a self-discipline and self-control over it. Then the technology can be used usefully. Rather, who is the master is the question. Is the mobile phone driving you, or is it in your hands under your control? That is the question.
So does Vedanta also offer insights on, heartbreaks and personal loss?
Absolutely, yes. Emotions is something which is natural for all of us. Without emotions, we are plants or stones. Emotions is a virtue. But being emotional, breaking down emotionally, and basing our decisions and actions based on emotions is something we need to be very, very scared of. To become emotional at every point of time and lose control over it, that takes a toll on our system. So, if the intellect is powerful, it is strong enough, it will be able to control and guide the emotions in the proper way. So we can say if the flow of emotions is like a river, intellect acts as the banks of the river. If the banks of the river is strong, then the river, however fast it flows, it will not spill out.
Yeah.
And that flow of a river can generate even electricity, and it will be very useful for the society. But if the banks are weak, the same river can cause damage to the society. So emotions are like the river. We need to build strong banks, which is intellect.
Definitely. So, with your commitment to sustainability, how does Vedanta inform your views on living a more conscious or eco friendly life?
Right from the time of Vedas in general talk about a mutual coexistence and harmony in this universe. That is why our prayers are directed not towards the welfare of just whole humanity or human beings. It is directed towards the welfare of the entire universe, including plants and animals. Sanno astu dvipade sanchatushpade, says the Vedic Shanti mantra. May the bipeds be well, may the human beings be well, may the birds be well, may the trees grow higher, may the animals be well. This is our prayer. That is why we see divinity everywhere, in every tree, in every animal, in every plant, we see divinity. So, if this insight comes that world is not provided for the enjoyment of a human being, but each and every one has a right to stay, a right to live harmoniously and have a mutual coexistence, only then true eco, what did you say? True eco-friendly system will come. And Vedanta talks about this oneness. This oneness is what it says. Whether apparently through your body, mind and intellect and all the physical structures we may appear differently, there is an inherent unity that runs amongst us, which is technically called as Atma or God or self, whatever you want to call it. Call it by any name. This is what Vedanta emphasizes on. So, if I hurt a dog, it is hurting myself.
Definitely.
If cutting a tree is there, it is cutting myself. So, everybody can talk about being good and being unselfish in the world and give sermons, which is right. But Vedanta goes one step ahead and says the root cause of it. Why should I help a beggar? Because by helping beggar, I am helping myself. It is helping me. So, therefore, the universal sustainability of everything is made possible through this understanding of oneness. And Vedanta, I would go one step and say Vedanta alone emphasizes this and puts it in a most, convincing way.
So, lastly, with a bit of fun, if Vedanta was personified, what superpowers would it possess?
Yeah, generally people relate any advancement in spirituality uh, to acquiring certain superpowers. We see a person, they are called powers of Siddhi or Siddhi powers, like that. And therefore, a spiritual person must have certain extraordinary capacities to read others' mind, or to become light, or to become heavy, or these are some, like what we see as superheroes, as Superman and Batman, that type of a thing. But it is very interesting to note that an enlightened person, a person who has culminated his journey in Vedanta, becomes and behaves pretty normal, pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
Everything that has happened to him internally is there. Inwardly, he is so cool. And you may not be able to see it. His love is universal. His knowledge is profound and deep. His actions are dynamic. And he's completely self-sufficient that you even deny him the next meal, you cannot see a change in his face. The same smile will be there. So this picture that a spiritual or religious person has extraordinary and superpowers is a myth. He becomes an absolutely normal person. That is a true Vedantin.
Wow. Thank you, Ramaswamy ji, for enlightening us with your knowledge and also inspiring us for seeking higher understanding in life and inner peace. I'm sure you guys also must have gained some knowledge from this conversation. So see you guys in the next episode.